A Dutch court has overturned an order that Russia pay $50 billion to former shareholders of an oil company that was forcibly broken up in 2007.
Yukos was once Russia's largest oil company, controlled by Mikhail Khodorkovsky, then one of Russia's richest men. The firm went bankrupt after Mr. Khodorkovsky fell out with President Vladimir Putin, and the government began demanding huge payments in back taxes. According to the judges, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague had no jurisdiction in this case because it was brought under the Energy Charter Treaty, which Russia had never ratified.
That's a BBC's Anna Holligan. The European Union broadening its battle with Google. The EU alleges that tech giant rigs the global market for mobile apps by making its Android operating system give preferential treatment to its own product. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Senate passes landmark energy reform legislation.
Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska is the chief sponsor of the bill.
This is a good bill. This is an important bill for our country.
Senator Murkowski says the bill does many things.
Our bill will help America produce more energy. It will help Americans save more energy.
The energy bill is the first major overhaul of energy policy since 2007. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
The latest aftershock in Ecuador has caused some people to abandon homes, even those with no apparent damage. They headed overnight to a former airport where temporary shelters have been set up. The 6.1 magnitude jolt early today, the strongest yet. In the aftermath of the quake over the weekend, that earthquake killed more than 500 people in Ecuador. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has two locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. It's April 20th. Ken, isn't there a number 420 that is kind of unique?
420?
420. Just Google it sometimes, my friend. All right,
Okay.
Sports Scene right here presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. An interview show every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Also invite you to watch sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Tell your friends about 1650, live and local, 10,000-watt voice of Hampton Roads. Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup. Scott Jackson from ESPN 980. He has been on Sports Scene before. Of course, sponsors on gjbtv.com, homepage and marketplace sponsors. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with 2 great locations in Virginia Beach. Phone line presented by gjbtv.com. Sponsors this month on WHKT for my show and throughout the 20 hours, of course, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Yetis, Long's Billiards, Me Hogar, Newport News Greek Festival, of course, the Norfolk Tide spot as well. And, of course, we got some great shows coming up. We have a baseball show and a softball show on April 29th and May the 5th, respectively, presented by the USCAA. Those gentlemen do a really good job. Of course, the Newport News Greek Festival coming up June 2nd to June 5th. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. And, of course, the Norfolk Greek Festival coming up as well. Go to their website, norfolkgreekfestival.com. NBA postseason really heating up. We're going to talk to Scott Jackson about that. NHL, the Capitals doing very well. Major League Baseball, Orioles and Nationals off to a great start. And, of course, a big NASCAR weekend in Richmond this coming weekend should be a lot of fun, showcased on Fox as well. Of course, we got sports highlights, what teased me off, and a lot more. And, of course, Ken and I will banter back and forth in great business spotlight scenes. And, of course, if you missed a show, simply go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link on the homepage, and it'll take you right to previous shows and other good stuff. We taped the Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament last Thursday between Donald Widener and John Bauman. Widener won it as documented in the Daily Press, 8 to 7, and it'll be showcased on TV in the month of May. Go to gjbtv.com, tennis tournament section for the air times. This is Sports Scene on April 20th. Beautiful spring day. We'll be back after these messages.
Long's Billiards in Newport News is having a massive sale. 7, 8, even 9-foot tables are at an all-time low price, including Connolly, Brunswick, and Olhausen. 1,000 pool cues in stock are up to 30, 40, even 50% off. Over 100 pool tables also on sale. When gone, they're gone forever. Log on to longsbilliards.com. Call 599-3661 and visit them at 9906 Warwick Boulevard. Major clearance prices going on now at Long's Billiards.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Listen to the USCA Baseball Selection Show on News Talk 1650 WHKT and TuneIn.com on April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. Learn about the playing field for America's small colleges as we discuss the USCA baseball postseason. Follow the USCAA on Twitter and save the date for the USCAA Baseball Selection Show Friday, April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com.
Little Ozzy to get you fired up on this Wednesday afternoon, hump day right here in Hampton Roads. Greg Bicouvaris along with you up until 1 o'clock for a Sports Scene every Wednesday noon to 1. Also tunein.com, type in WHKT. He used to work in this market. We've had him on this show several times on Sports Scene. In fact, we both shared the Red Zebra umbrella for several years. Let's welcome from ESPN 980, Scott Jackson. How are you, Scotty?
Good. How you doing today, Greg?
Very good, my friend. And, of course, congratulations. Understand some new hours coming up for you. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, May 2nd. So we'll be expanding our lineup from 17 hours of local, starting at 5 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. And our particular show, Inside the Locker Room, with myself, Rick Doc Walker, and Brian Mitchell, will be 1 to 4. Right now we're 2 to 4, so we got another week of the good life, and then we got to start really working.
We're going to cover a lot of different nuggets in the time we got Scott with us from ESPN 980 live right here on Sports Scene, of course, in the NBA tonight. It's Charlotte, Miami, Detroit, Cleveland, and, of course, Portland Clippers. But let's start off with the Wizards, first of all. They did not make the postseason. They went 500. They made it the last few years, and they got rid of Randy Whitman, who I thought was a real gentleman, who came here during adverse times and really built the team together, started getting a foundation. He couldn't help that they had a lot of injuries, but it seems like with the Wizards, for the most part, Scott, they always play well in spurts of games. They never can just be consistent for a month.
No, they can't. And, obviously they decided that they needed a coaching change to get them over the top. We'll see if that ends up working. There's a lot of interesting names out there right now. Certainly Scott Brooks appears to be the front runner right now. The connection to Kevin Durant may have a lot to do with that, but I hope to think the Wizards are going to make a selection on a coach that can coach who's ever here, whether Durant's here or not. It would be great if Durant's here, but if he doesn't come here, you got to make sure you got the right coach in place to move this thing forward to get back to where you were, making progress the last couple of seasons before this setback this year.
But, Scott, you talk about Wall and Beal and Nene and Gortat. Is that enough to carry you over that 7 or 8 seed every year and just your perennial possibly getting to the second round? Of course, they did very well against Toronto last year. Toronto has proven to be not a great playoff team at all. I think they're a fraud, in my opinion. They're even right now, but I just think that Toronto's a fraud. But what do the Wizards need to do to get to that top 4 spot and evolve, especially while Wall, and Beal are still young?
Well, they got to, first of all, they got to get Beal's deal done. He's a restricted free agent this offseason. I'd like to see him for a full season with Wall and with Markieff Morris, who is really that other guy right now, the next guy. Then you put Gortat, of course, is a capable center. He's productive. Not a great defender necessarily. Nene is a free agent, so I don't know if he'll be back here. Obviously, it probably depend on the price and whoever the new coach is, whether they think he's valuable or not. But there's going to be a very different roster next year outside of the starting 5. I mean, Porter will still be here as well, but you're looking at anywhere from 8 to 10 new guys potentially with the contracts that are all up, which certainly was, I think, part of the reason why Randy Whitman really couldn't command the room this year, because you had a lot of guys that were with some selfish intentions this year, unfortunately, not dealing with their roles very well.
Talking to Scott Jackson from ESPN 980. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live right here on Sports Scene on this beautiful April 20th at 12:15. And, of course, you mentioned Nene. He's a perfect example of a guy who does play in spurts, and I just think he's huffing and puffing to get across the timeline. I'm not sure if his endurance was it supposed to be at this year. And, of course, they really have to evolve and look at everybody on the roster, including, the general manager, the owner. They have to get together and really try to turn this thing around. But it's hard to when you do a coaching change like this.
Yeah, but sometimes coaching changes can be good. I mean, you look at Golden State, obviously, is a great example of it. I'm not sure if Oklahoma City in the net is in any better position now. Billy Donovan, if they were with Scott Brooks a few years ago. Of course, he got fired after Kevin Durant was hurt, which really wasn't a fair way to judge him, but happens a lot in the league. I think Randy just, again, got caught up here in a situation where he had a lot of injuries, a lot of selfishness, and and he also, I'm sure, did some things that he'd look back and regret in terms of the way he handled things. One of the criticisms of him you'll hear is he didn't really hold John Wall accountable enough, and John Wall was not in the best of shape to start the season and really was terrible defensively this year compared to years past. And Nene, actually, I thought was pretty productive this year in a smaller role, but he's also a guy that wasn't always called out by the coach. So these are just some of the things that eventually, I think, hurt Randy Whitman, and I don't think he had the full support of the room, unfortunately, when it was all said and done. Everybody said all the right things as he's left.
I agree, but I think the shelf life for a lot of those players is limited, especially the ones over 30. Even Gortat, he played well in spurts. We got to like his energy. I did love that. I was at the Charlotte game a few weeks ago, I think on a Sunday, and of course they played great when they're loose, when there's nothing on the edge, after the postseason. Amazing how well they played those last few games.
Yeah, and again, there was no pressure, like you say. They were playing a lot of guys again who were finally getting a chance to play when they were sitting a lot of people. And, those guys are playing for their future. So, yeah, they definitely were loose. Mm-hmm. And it was a little surprising to see how poorly Charlotte played that game. Most of that game as well. And also I look at that Atlanta game, was still playing for position at that point. And those are the only two teams that really played that had anything on the line. But But overall, a disappointing year. And, it's funny to think that 41-41 can be disappointing for the Wizards, but they've obviously raised the bar to some level. They just need to raise it a lot higher and get to a point where they're an actual challenger and contender in the Eastern Conference.
Talking to Scott Jackson from ESPN 980. He's currently on from 2 to 4. We'll be moving a little bit later on May 2nd, up an hour as well. Right here, this is Sports Scene. Of course, let's go around the NBA right now. You talked the Cavs 1-0, had a very feisty game against the Pistons. Pacers, Raptors at 1-0. Heat look like they're already in control of that series, even though they're up 1-0. Celtics look like they're done at 2-0 against the Hawks. Golden State 2-0, very good, even without their top player. Spurs in control 2-0. OKC and the Mavs, that could be interesting going back to Dallas at 1-0. And, of course, the Clippers in Portland. I do think Clippers will end up winning that series. But what strikes you out in the postseason right now?
Terrible series. I mean, no drama, nothing really interesting. I just want to wake up and be in the Western Conference Finals with the Spurs and Golden State, and if they cancel the finals after that, I'd be okay with it. I mean, to me, the whole season boils down to the Golden State Spurs series. That's all I care about. I mean, but looking at all year, they're the two best teams by miles. It would be a shame if they wouldn't play one another, and I think that's the thing Golden State has to answer still, too. Won a championship last year, has a record-setting season this year, but until they go through a real champion like the Spurs, I think people are going to question whether it's just a product of a mediocre NBA right now.
And box office, ABC wants to see Golden State and Cleveland. It'll be disappointing if LeBron doesn't win it because his shelf life is getting limited as well. Just ask Kobe on that. And, of course, Golden State will be disappointing for them to break their record at 73 and not win the championship.
It'd be like the Patriots, the
Sure.
18-1 season, the jerseys or the shirts you can only get like in third world countries right now. I mean, they could sell those over there as well, as far as I'm concerned. If Golden State doesn't finish the job, I mean, who cares? They broke the record.
Let's go around some other sports stuff while we got Scott on to about 12:25. He'll stay on with us till. As far as the Redskins schedule came out, they made the postseason last year. A lot of primetime games. This schedule is not easy, especially starting with week 1.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about schedules every year. Remember last year, people tell me how the Redskins' finishing schedule was impossible. Of course, that's where they thrive. You really can't judge a schedule in April. I mean, it looks cool. It's fun to talk about, and it's fun to put out all that stuff right now, and it's great content, I suppose, for April. But it really doesn't mean a whole lot until they play a season. There's always a team that shocks you, that is disappointing. There's always the teams that are a lot better than you think. Coming into the season. So, again, on paper, they should have a harder schedule. They were a first-place team last year, so I would suspect that would be part of it. But you also think that they should be a better team as well with some improvements and some health. I mean, they had some key guys out last year that hopefully will be back and be contributors this season.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Scott Jackson right here. This is Sports Scene on 1650 AM. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Tell your friends. Glad you're with us right here during the lunch hour as well. But, of course, I remember you saying the last time you were on Sports Scene, you were a believer once they got to 500 and beyond. And, of course, there are still going to be skeptics because they started off the gate pretty shaky last year.
Yeah, and I think, it'll be good if they could get off to a fast start this year to kind of help calm down the crazy fan base that we have around this area. Would be good for Cousins in particular if he ends up playing on this one-year deal. They still got some work to do in terms of fixing that defense, I think. There hasn't been a whole lot taken care of so far this offseason for more subtractions and additions. And hopefully, they can address a lot of it in the draft and maybe get some bargain free agents like they did last year. McLuhan actually did better work with the lower level guys. The guys you paid money for actually ended up being busts last year. You look at Chris Culliver, and that didn't work out so good. And I just think that he did better with the guys that he didn't pay as well. Stephen Pye was another guy got paid here, didn't do much of anything, got hurt. So that's really where he made his hay, was kind of the lesser-known guys and street free agents, and obviously with the drafts.
Well, one team in Washington doing very well, very popular, always great crowds, are the Caps. They went 56 wins during the year, 18 losses, 8 OTLs, or 3-0 against Philadelphia. Is the town buzzing, let's say, like a Redskins postseason, or they're still a step below? Because they're perennially in the postseason, unlike the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still the show-me stage for some of our fans, but I think people have enjoyed this series because they've dominated the Flyers. The ugliness that took place in Philly the other night, the way the Caps responded to it by just continuing to score goals and not get caught up in all the shenanigans, I think has impressed people. as the playoffs goes on, it always ramps up here for the Caps. It's never the same as the Redskins, but it is a big deal, and I think it'd be extremely satisfying if they could finally kick that door down and not only win the East, but potentially win the Stanley Cup. I think then you'd have a whole different situation and obviously breed a whole bunch of new fans that maybe weren't on the bandwagon before.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the Nationals off to a great start, 10-3, Orioles 8-4. But let's talk about the Nats just for a couple minutes before I let you go. Does Dusty Baker have total, let's say, respect the clubhouse, or is it still too early to tell? They're off to a good start, but we've seen the same rodeo for both the Nationals and Orioles before, although they're off to an excellent start.
Yeah, I mean, Dusty Baker's a proven manager, proven leader. He's always gotten more out of less. I think he was the perfect manager for this team. I'm glad the Bud Black thing didn't work out. Not to say that he couldn't be a good manager, but that's too similar to what they did before, grabbing a guy like Matt Williams, who didn't have much experience. I mean, Black did have some experience there at San Diego in a few years where he maybe overachieved with less. But Dusty Baker, again, proven guy, veteran guy, knows how to handle the room, knows how to talk to players, was a great player in his own right. And I think he's just the right fit, right temperament for this team. And granted, he'll be judged as the season goes along and whether or not they make the playoffs and actually advance for once. But so far, yeah, certainly he's hit the right chord with that team.
What are your callers right now talking about the most on ESPN 980? Is it the Caps? Is it the Redskins schedule? Is it the NBA and the lack of the Wizards? What's the buzz right now?
Well, I mean, certainly the Caps are dominating a lot of it right now, but pre-draft stuff's huge. I mean, that's what people are always going to be jumped up about. But we'll see as time goes on. If the Caps keep moving on, that'll be big. The Harper start's been really big too for the Nats, I think.
And we'll leave you with this final question: what do the Redskins need to improve? What you mentioned the draft coming up soon. What do they need, Scott?
The defense. They need more pass rushers. They need a run stuffer. Could use some help at linebacker. Still need safety help. I think they could use another running back because I think that's a very unsettled position, and I would not be surprised if they took a wide receiver because I think they realize the Garcon Jackson thing's not going to last forever.
Right. And, of course, they lost a lot of players, during the offseason as well. Scott Jackson, thank you so much, ESPN 980. And, of course, we look forward to talking to you again down the road. Have a great rest of the afternoon, and thanks for all that you do in broadcasting.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
My pleasure. Scott Jackson right there from ESPN 980, of course, was in this market as well for the ESPN affiliate. This is Greg Bicouvaris, Sports Scene, every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Well, folks, are you looking for a job? Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine is hiring. They're the home of shish kebabs. Yes, they're hiring. They need wait staff. They're right there at 10417 Warwick Boulevard. Their phone number is 223-9978. Go by and see David. A part-time job wouldn't hurt right there in Hilton Village in Newport News. Tell your friends, perfect for a college kid, family members, whatever. Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine. They have delightful food there like hot and cold appetizers. They've got entrees, they got fish, kids menu, desserts, of course, assorted wraps and stews. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Dine-in, carry-out, and catering. Opening up around 11 o'clock in the morning. Delicious food, very healthy, conscious food. Really no other peers like them in the area. Saffron Mediterranean Cuisine is hiring. Call David at 223-9978. Stay tuned for the Tides ticket drop here. We'll give a pair of tickets to the first person to text in just a few moments as well. And speaking of the Tides, catch the new wave as your defending 2015 International League South Division champion Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow today. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information on season tickets, groups, ticket discounts, and Tides merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and player moves. Tides Baseball, see the green. You're definitely seeing the green this year with their brand new logo. And of course, a locals tradition is CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime rib, seafood, and much more. Go by and see Matt and Mark. And of course, they got NASCAR. They're showing the big Richmond race this weekend. MLB, NHL, NBA, of course, golf, soccer, tennis. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten. And of course, they got their big spring event, their annual golf tournament coming up on May 2nd at the beautiful Oceana Golf Course in Virginia Beach. All presented by, of course, Aloha Circle and CP Shuckers. And, of course, coming up May 2nd. And a lot going on. So, With that said, everybody likes free stuff. People like Tides. They're just getting underway. The first person to text the word Tides, very simple, text the word Tides to 291-4234. 291-4234. Simply text the word Tides, and you'll get a pair of free tickets to a Norfolk Tides game, any game this spring or summer. You can't beat that because it's free, and you don't have to worry about what date it is. Just go to the box office and exchange them for the date you want. Text the word Tides, Tides, to 757-291-4234, and the pair of tickets for the Tides game is free. Perfect for a gift. Give it to your kid. Enjoy it yourself. Text the word Tides right now to 291-4234. Kenny, any good movies hitting your fancy right now, of course? What are you thinking about as far as the movie weekend?
Well, The Jungle Book is eating everybody's lunch, so to speak. It took in big box office numbers over the weekend. It remains to be a very popular movie. It's a very good movie. If you've ever seen the animated original of 1967, if memory serves, one of the last movies Walt Disney supervised personally before he died, it's a different take on there. There's a little nudge and wink here and there for the fans of the old movie. It's got plenty of the elements of the old movie, but the visuals are just stunning. None of this movie was shot outdoors. It was all shot indoors. You cannot tell it. It is amazing, the advances in technology. The voice cast, terrific. They've got not a male this time. It was originally a male character, a voice. This time it's one of the Avengers. It's and now I can't even think of her name. Black Widow.
I saw the movie
Scarlett Johansson. That's her name.
There you go. I saw the movie Barbershop over the weekend. I thought that was very good, very funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
but if you have a chance, go see The Jungle Book. Don't think, oh, gee, a remake. It's another cartoon. It's not a cartoon. It's much better. Let me just give you a little something to look forward to. If you know who the actor Christopher Walken is, the guy who kind of talks like this, he plays the King Louie part in this movie. You may remember from the Saturday Night Live bits where he's got the cowbell thing going. Right before his character appears in this movie, there's a little something with a cowbell. That's the kind of nudge and wink and nod kind of fun they have with this movie.
Well, you got the news, traffic, and weather like you do so eloquently. Of course, especially that's the one delight during the morning, if you know what I'm talking about, your traffic and weather. Ken, take it away. And, of course, we'll give away some more Tides tickets by texting the word Tides to 291-4234.
Sunshine for the rest of the day with a high of 65. Clear tonight, 49. Sunny, a little warmer tomorrow with a high of 78 degrees. Some clouds, afternoon thunderstorms for Friday with a high of 84, but the weekend looks promising. News is next. It's 12:30.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. 2 Michigan state regulators and a Flint employee are charged with evidence tampering and several other felony and misdemeanor counts. Charges stem from the lead-tainted water crisis in Flint. The Supreme Court has upheld a judgment allowing families of victims of Iranian-sponsored terrorism to collect nearly $2 billion, ruling today a 6-2 decision. Supporters of Ted Cruz say they're not overly concerned about his third-place finish in the New York primary. Today, Cruz campaigning in Pennsylvania. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie heading to Indiana for political meetings with Donald Trump. Stocks higher on Wall Street. The Dow is up about 53 points, the Nasdaq ahead 13, and the S&P trading 4 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Do you have a family member who's getting older and can no longer be safely left alone? With Visiting Angels America's Choice in Senior Home Care, your parents and older family members can continue living at home and not have to move into a nursing home. Experienced, compassionate caregivers provide assistance in hygiene, meal preparation, and light housework up to 24 hours per day at affordable rates. To restore your family's peace of mind, call Visiting Angels toll-free today at 877-374-LIVE or at visitingangels.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had numerous credit cards, and I was struggling with paying them off, so I made the call.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
The people at Trinity are very friendly. They will do whatever you need them to do in order for you to feel better about being in a very difficult place.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
For over 55 years, Long's Billiards is the place to go for all your billiard supplies. Long's Billiards has Brunswick and Old House and pool tables at more than 50% off. Long's Billiards has never offered prices this low before. 7, 8, and 9-foot pool tables on sale now. Hurry, this deal won't last.
Visit Long's Billiards in Newport News or log on to longsbilliards.com. Call now, 599-3661. That's 599-3661.
Listen to the USCA Baseball Selection Show on News Talk 1650 WHKT and TuneIn.com on April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. Learn about the playing field for America's small colleges as we discuss the USCAA baseball postseason. Follow the USCAA on Twitter and save the date for the USCAA Baseball Selection Show Friday, April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com. Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email the show, bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com.
All right, about to do the Tides ticket drop here in just a moment right here. Thank you, Ken Johnson, gjbtv.com for archive shows. Click the YouTube link. I want to thank Scott Jackson for joining us in the first half hour, of course. Lunchtime order online at papajohns.com. Shop in the marketplace sponsors of gjbtv.com. Save the date. We'll be back every Wednesday right here noon to 1. And, of course, TGIF on Lynn Haven Parkway, TGIFridays.com, lunch, dinner, and late night. Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com, folks. Browse, shop, and visit. And find the B-dubs at BuffaloWildWings.com. Of course, Outback Steakhouse has lunch, of course. Excellent lunch. Introducing lunch at Outback every bloomin' day with your favorites like Aussie tacos made with chicken, fish, or steak. Yum, yum, yum. Or try the new ribeye melt top with bacon. A lot of people didn't know Outback is open daily for lunch and dinner 7 days a week, not just dinner. And of course, they've got the cheddar and garlic aioli on a toasted artisan bun with over 70 lunch combinations. Great burgers, of course, starting at only $6.99. It's now lunch at last at Outback. Go by and see Mike and the staff at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. Lunch, dinner, great appetizers at Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach. And, of course, thanks to all the great listeners of Sports Scene. Over 100 views a few weeks ago for the Wood Seelig interview. Just go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link. And, of course, now, as promised again, the Tides ticket drop. Text the word Tides, Tides, and you'll get a pair of free tickets to an upcoming Tides game. Just text the word Tides, Tides, to 757, of course, 291-4234. That's 291-4234. Text the word Tides to that number, 291-4234, for a pair of free tickets to a Tides game. We'll take a short break, and we'll come back after these messages. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddie'sPizzaCafe.com.
Mark your calendar for June 2nd to 5th as Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church in Newport News presents the Newport News Greek Festival. Enjoy Greek food, desserts, beverages, music, dancing, arts and crafts, and much more. This is the signature event of the year in Hampton Roads with free admission and parking. Located at 60 Traverse Road off exit 258B on Route 17 in Newport News. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene live right here on the radio, 1650 a.m. up until 1 o'clock at 12:37. Of course, save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival, June 2nd to June 5th. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org. Well, it's about springtime finally in Hampton Roads. It's been hot, cold one day, whatever, but people are ready to fish. Coming up very soon, a regular right here is Jennifer Duff. I want to welcome her father, Hoyt Duff. Hoyt, how are you from Lynnhaven Fishing Pier?
I'm doing great, Greg. Thank you.
Very good. Let's talk about the upcoming seasons. A lot of history right there at Lynnhaven Fishing Pier.
Oh, yeah. We've been there 60 years this year.
Well, let's talk about the amenities. What have you got? And let's talk about the hours. Once it's open, it's pretty much 24 hours.
Okay, yes, we are open 24 hours. The tackle shop is open 24 hours. We provide the usual range of tackle plus a few convenience food items.
Right, and of course, we had Hoyt, his wife, on Sports Highlights several years ago from the pier. And let's talk about what do you expect early on in the month of May for people to start catching there?
Usually we catch smaller pan-sized fish this time of year. They don't get bigger until later in the season.
Right.
But I've never had an opening day where people haven't caught fish.
That's good. Because the water temperature is still kind of cool, correct?
It's about 53 degrees last time I looked.
Well, let's talk about your address and where you're located at.
Okay, the address is 2350 Starfish Road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm located about a quarter mile east of the Lesnar Bridge on Shore Drive.
Mm-hmm. Is there parts of the pier, people always say the further you go back in the pier, you're likely to catch bigger fish. Is that just a myth, or how true is that?
It's a myth.
I'm sure you've heard that.
The bottom is flat and featureless all the way out to the ship channel.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get out past the shore and you get a little depth, it's the same depth all the way out to the pier, from about the cleaning tables on out.
But why is that? People always say the further you go out, you might catch a shark, for example, but sharks are everywhere.
Yes, it's wishful thinking.
Yes.
And I think they want to justify that long quarter-mile walk to the end.
Right. And, of course, bait always seems to be, you need a golf cart to get to the end, that's for sure. But it's still a lot of fun to exercise and be out in the sun. To me, it's the best view, I think, Hoyt, in Hampton Roads.
Well, thank you. You have a great view scenic-wise. It's a wonderful place to be, especially on 4th of July. You can see every fireworks display in the area from there.
And of course, you have free parking there, and you share it with the restaurant. But it's pretty well marked, so it's not just catching you by surprise.
Right. Yeah, we have of the 4 rows in the lot, we have 2 rows on the west side. Plus, we have as overflow a lot across the street.
At certain times of the year, it's special for opening day. Is it kind of like baseball? You get kind of excited. Everybody has to be you geared up all winter long, and finally it's here.
Yeah, yes, it is. We get to know a lot of our customers very well,
mm-hmm.
and of course we don't see them over the winter time. And people will come down on opening day just to visit, not even to fish. They'll just stop by to say hi.
Very
Let
good.
us know that they survived another winter.
Yeah, and of course, you're active on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, talking to Hoyt Duff from Lynnhaven Fishing Pier in Virginia Beach. And really, I think, to sum it up, there's something for everyone there. I mean, it's really, whether you want to just read a book or fish or just go with your friend, there really is a lot of fun.
It is, and it's a very family-oriented, friendly place. Nice wide pier. It's 20 feet wide and 1,480 feet long, so there's lots of room out there just to, kind of relax and enjoy yourself.
And, of course, the tourists like coming there as well. And the thing about the tourists, and even though I grew up in this area, that a lot of people go down Shore Drive to get away from 264, so they see your nice fishing pier right there on the left-hand side.
Yes, but surprisingly, we still have people that live in the neighborhood and have lived there for years and are surprised that we're still there.
And you have a nice snack bar as well, too. And, of course,
yes.
Again, bloodworms seem like they're the top bait, but I guess people love their squid and shrimp, too.
Yes. Bloodworms is popular, the artificial bloodworms. do really well once the water warms up to about 58 degrees.
All right, and opening day is April 29th, correct?
Correct. April 29th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Very good. Hoyt, thanks a lot, and we'll say hello to Jennifer, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Greg, thank you.
Thank you. Hoyt Duff right there from the Lynn Fishing Pier. And Ken, you've got a nice history there as well.
Oh, yeah. I used to go there all the time. Hoyt was just saying 60 years. I think we were there for at least 45 of the 60 years. It seemed like Dad liked to go there quite a bit. And he liked getting to the end of the pier just because he liked the view. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't so much what kind of fish we're going to catch, because he didn't catch anything just about anywhere. But he just liked getting down to the end just for the view. And Mom, of course, would not necessarily always use the appropriate bait. She would experiment, and she would start catching flounder right and left, and people were looking at her like, what do you want? She was using peanut butter, hot dogs, anything she could think of, because her theory, and who knows, maybe there's something to it, the fish got tired of the same old thing. They wanted something different.
Right. Yeah. Well, Ken, let me say this to you, too. I never quite understood this about fishing citations. Think about it. We go to the grocery store. We eat shrimp and scallops all the time. They're very small. Why is there a citation on flounder when that could feed a family? I just don't get it.
I don't understand that either.
Think about it.
It seems kind of odd.
You can buy shrimp and scallops in small, like fish bites, at a grocery store or or produce. When you go to shop for produce or a meat shop, you can buy small fruit. But if you fish, God forbid, the bluefish is not big enough, you got to throw it back in the water. And really, some people don't mind catching and releasing, but some actually go there to keep the fish. I don't think there's anything on one spot, but it's just but still, it's all about the size.
Yeah, it does seem strange. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. Somebody somewhere apparently thought it was a good idea, and once it's a rule, it's hard to get rid of it.
All right, the premier buffet in Hampton Roads is open. Tokyo Grill and Buffet. Indulge in this all-you-can-eat extravaganza, which includes Chinese, Japanese, hibachi, sushi, and American food, as well as fruit and dessert, too. Tokyo Grill and Buffet is ideal for every occasion, with lunch at $6.39, dinner at $9.39, and Sunday all day is $9.99. Located at 49 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton, they have takeout as well. New management, new ownership, great place to eat. You can't beat the price. $6.39 for lunch, $9.39 all you can eat for dinner. Right there. Where is it at, you ask? 49 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton on the peninsula. We'll come back and talk to Brenda Tusing, talk more about that Tides ticket drop as well. And, of course, we'll get to what teased me off. A lot going on today right here on Sports Scene Live at 1244. Go to gjbtv.com, click the YouTube link for archive shows. Interact with me at Greg Bick on Twitter. That's GREGBIC. Stay tuned.
Long's Billiards in Newport News is having a massive sale. 7, 8, even 9-foot tables are at an all-time low price, including Connolly, Brunswick, and Olhausen. 1,000 pool cues in stock are up to 30, 40, even 50% off. Over 100 pool tables also on sale. When gone, they're gone forever. Log on to longsbilliards.com. Call 599-3661 and visit them at 9906 Warwick Boulevard. Major clearance prices going on now at Long's Billiards.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Listen to the USCA Baseball Selection Show on News Talk 1650 WHKT and TuneIn.com on April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. Learn about the playing field for America's small colleges as we discuss the USCAA baseball postseason. Follow the USCAA on Twitter and save the date for the USCAA Baseball Selection Show, Friday, April 29th from noon to 1 p.m. on 1650 AM and TuneIn.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I see you move, I'm checking your smile, working your back. All right, back live right here on Sports Scene. Don't forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com. I know Terry, of course, loves her Tides tickets. And, of course, we welcome our partner from the Royal Chocolate. It's that time of the year, Ken and Brenda both, where people are getting outside, but they all love to eat those sweets. And Mother's Day is coming up. Let's welcome Brenda Tusing. How are you?
Hello, Greg. How are you today?
Good. We always talk about that every time we have you on the radio. There's always something going on at the Royal Chocolate.
There are a lot of things going on right now.
And let's talk about the calendar. What's coming up?
Actually, next week we have got Admin Assistance Day. That's on the 27th, next Wednesday. Starting in May, we've got Nurses Week on the 6th to the 12th. And then in May also, in Teachers Appreciation Week. And, of course, Mother's Day.
Right.
The perfect day.
Right. What do you have in stock right now? There's always something that kind of like that theme you had for Easter. And, of course, there's always a theme. And like you said, Admin's Day and, of course, Mother's Day are special.
They're very special, and we have a lot of things in the store. And, we try to be very sort of tuned into people's budgets. So we have some beautiful gifts starting at about $5. So if you have several people in your office that you need to thank, it's really not going to break the bank to do that. And then Mother's Day, beautiful gift baskets. Moms like truffles, we've found. So we're really stocked up with wonderful flavors of truffles.
Yeah. What is it about truffles, Brenda? Some people like them, some people don't.
I think that the people that like them typically love them because they're beautiful. They've got great flavor. Sort of almost a decadent, very special feel to them.
Mm-hmm. And one thing about your place, your location, great parking, great access to anybody in Hampton Roads. And really, you can go to dinner, you can go to the comedy club and get some chocolate. They really all go hand in hand. Now that people can actually walk outdoors and not have to freeze to death.
It's about time we waited for that, didn't we?
Right. Of course, you're very active on all the social media. Which one do you find to be the most effective? Whether it's, and that's a good retail question for you too. Is it Pinterest? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Which one?
I think it depends on the person. Twitter we do well with, but I think Instagram, even Pinterest, because it's very visually based. We're such a, we translate very well through pictures. But Facebook, we have a lot of interaction.
Right.
People will ask questions, that sort of thing.
I think just because Facebook has such a big presence, it's hard to beat that presence. I mean, they supersede so much. Personally, I'm a Twitter person, but I do have Facebook. But I think Facebook is just so big, and you guys have a lot of great pictures on there and information.
We do.
Right. Well, how about stuff for the kids?
We have a lot of things for the kids. Actually, we just got a new shipment of lollipops, and they are so cute. You should see them. They're little faces of animals and bugs and flowers and just all kinds of fun things.
And one thing, too, Brenda, going to your store, talking to Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate, it's not a rush feeling. You have tables, you have chairs, you have restrooms. You can browse, you can shop, you can visit there. And really, you're not, there's plenty of elbow room. You go to a lot of these candy stores, that you're just tight and they're crammed. Yours is very spacious. You and Terry really planned that out well.
We did that because we used that seating area for people who want to sit down and enjoy fondue, for example, or have fondue parties. So, yeah, we have a lot of room in there.
All right, theroyalchocolate.com, 557-6925, of course. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Anything else you want to plug, of course, Brenda?
I don't know. Just come and see us or at least check us out online. Take a look at our website.
Yep. Give us your full address.
We are at 164 Central Park Ave in the Virginia Beach Town Center.
Very good. Brenda, thanks a lot. Say hello to Terry. I know she loves her Tides tickets.
She does. She's very happy. Thank you.
You too. Stay sweet at the Royal Chocolate, folks.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Brenda Tusing right there. Ken, sometimes we feel like we're talking through a UFO.
Well, one of these days, how long has it been since Graham Bell invented the phone? It's only been, 5 minutes? So one of these days, let's get the technology right.
Are you surprised, Ken, there hasn't been, speaking of UFOs, many UFO movies out lately? But it seemed like you used to always hear about the Bermuda Triangle all the time. You don't hear much about that myth anymore. You hear about all these Bigfoot episodes, but not much about UFO stuff.
Well, you know what? I have a feeling Indiana Jones and the last version of that movie kind of put the kibosh on aliens for a while because there was such a negative, very widespread negative feedback to the way that movie ended with the aliens. By the way, spoiler if you haven't seen it. Well, in this case, maybe you don't want to.
Yeah.
I have a feeling because I noticed right about that time, everything was aliens. All of a sudden, that movie came out and boom.
Right.
The only aliens you see are the standards in Star Wars and Star Trek and things like that as far as any kind of invasion aliens or creepy aliens. Not around anymore. So thank you, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. You kind of killed the alien movies for a while.
But there is a Star Wars movie coming out in the winter.
Rogue One.
Now, what's that all about? And that kind of caught people by surprise before the Death Star.
That's kind of I don't know what's the right word for it, a sideways movie. It's not a prequel or a sequel. It's kind of in the same world as Star Wars. Some of the same people are in it, but the main plot line doesn't involve the primary characters that we're familiar with from the old Star Wars movies or the new ones. So it's in the Star Wars world. It's kind of like the way the Avengers are doing it. You get a Superman, not Superman, it's DC. You get an Iron Man movie, then you get a Hulk movie, and then they all get together for the Avengers. So it's kind of like that. This is like an offshoot of the Star Wars family, and that should be interesting. Oh, by the way, they're shooting the next Star Wars. Mark Hamill is very active on Twitter and Facebook, and he was asked by one of the fans, what can you tell us about the next Star Wars movie? And he said, well, we're shooting it.
Right.
So I retweeted and said, spoiler alert.
Yeah, the royal couple actually.
He retweeted it. He thought it was funny.
Right, the royal couple actually went on the set.
Yeah, the royal couple was on the prince. And their family went and visited him on the set, and he said something amusing about how a fake pilot was showing a real pilot, because the princes have to, of course, serve in the military, and they're in the RAF, how to fly an aircraft, so he was having fun with that. But they're on the set. There's pictures of that being tweeted and reposted everywhere. But they are shooting the next one, so we've got the Rogue Warrior coming out this fall, and I guess Star Wars 8. Yeah, it is number 8.
In 2017, yes.
Will be coming out the following year.
Right, they like that winter, of course, shoot dates, of course, compared to Lucas, who liked the spring releases as well. So we have a Tides ticket drop coming up. Terry got hers. You can get yours, too. In just a moment, we'll come back with a short break and what teased me off. Right here on Sports Scene.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Long's Billiards in Newport News is having a massive sale. 7, 8, even 9-foot tables are at an all-time low price, including Connolly, Brunswick, and Olhausen. 1,000 pool cues in stock are up to 30, 40, even 50% off. Over 100 pool tables also on sale. When gone, they're gone forever. Log on to longsbilliards.com. Call 599-3661 and visit them at 9906 Warwick Boulevard. Major clearance prices going on now at Long's Billiards.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive. Just like animals, animals like animals. Maybe you think that you can hide. I can smell yourself from miles. Just like
All right, Terry got her Tides tickets. You can too right now, live and local, free. Text the word Tides, and congratulations again to Terry. Text the word Tides to 757-291-4234. That's 757-291-4234 right now. Text the word Tides to 291-4234, and the pair of Tides tickets are free. We might even add 2 more just for good measure. Kenny, let's get to what teased me off.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
You know, the atmosphere of most fast food restaurants, Kenny, you're definitely not going there for atmosphere.
Well, most of them, yeah. The kids like the playgrounds, but other than that, it's plastic tables, plastic chairs. Just a place for you to park your rear end for a few minutes, eat some food, and then get the heck out.
Yeah, especially, the ones that, like you said, the quick and fast ones, of course. Is it me, Ken, or most of those same fast food places have this so-called big box? It seems more like sides to me. They say this $5 box. It's just full of sides. On the dollar menu, they were making do a $5 box.
Anything to make it a marketing tool and make it interesting and sounds good. I mean, yeah, it sounds good. You're used to thinking about food on a box, lunch boxes, and things like that anyway. So it just kind of plays on that in the back of your mind, that subconscious. You're thinking, yeah, food in a box, lunch box, that's good.
Right. People who can't turn their phone off after they get 15 texts in one evening, even when they're at an event with others.
Man, how popular can you get?
No. How about just turning it off sometimes? Whatever happened to having water at a restaurant when you sit down, Kenny?
Well, It's an extra dish to wash. Not everybody drinks the water. It's an extra place setting, things like that. So I can kind of understand where that goes. And in some cities, if they're using tap water, you're probably better off anyway.
Right. Instead, we get wait staff who want our order right as we sit down before we even have a chance to look at the menu.
Wow, where are you going out to eat? I gotta turn you on to some different restaurants.
I'll go everywhere. This is the course of a week here too, folks. Instead, of course, it's always the drama with the waitresses and the waiters. All right, bogus spring football games that are planned around multiple events just to get people there for a game that means nothing. You have to have, a baseball game, a marathon run just to get people to go to a practice game. Ohio State didn't have to do that. They got 100,000 plus at their spring game. They didn't have a baseball game. They didn't have a marathon race. They didn't have to shut down Norfolk to get people to go to a meaningless practice game.
Well, I guess if the team is doing well and they've got a good record, you want to go see them.
Just YouTube Allen Iverson, what he thinks about practice, folks. All right, Ravens, win some games, make the playoffs, then you might get some more national TV games. The Ravens have fallen off the face of the earth. People who work at a workout facility that seem to be stalking people rather than working out. I mean, really, come on, watch those. All right, Ken, when you try to log into different screen names, you got multiple like we all do. And, of course, it says you're locked for whatever reason, down for temporary maintenance.
Yeah, what kind of maintenance can they do on a website, for goodness sakes?
Right. Morning shows, Ken, that creep into the evening.
Oh. And I hear about it all day and night long.
Oh, my
goodness.
Never
ends. I'm still hearing about it.
All right, 291-4234. Call 291-4234 right now for Tides tickets. Just simply call 291-4234. Tides tickets are yours. So I want to thank our great guests as well. Scott Jackson, of course, Hoyt Duff, Brenda Tusing, all the great guests, all the great sponsors. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, it's 1 p.m.
News this hour.